gentlemen, we are going to have our session with His Excellency the Prime Minister of Guinea-Conakry. Please sit down so that we can start our conversation. Ladies and gentlemen.
Bonjour à tous. Je suis.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Julien, a journalist at Africa Report, Jeune Afrique, and I'm very excited and very happy to be having this conversation with His Excellency Amadou Oury, who has blessed us with his presence, and with which we are going to have actually the talk on about mining infrastructures. Actually, we are talking about the mining infrastructure, and what are we talking about? We are going to talk about the big flagship of mine, actually, the project of Simandou, $15 billion, and others are talking about $20 billion, and it's a flagship project that will, of course, have more than 550 kilometers, and we will need to have 35 years. And actually, some of the people have been actually being not very realistic and saying that maybe the project was not going to be realized. And for your information, ladies and gentlemen, actually we are here to say that it has been able to be realized, and by the political will from the Guinea as a country, the project actually is going to be developed and implemented. Thus, it is with very much interest, with the respect that I'd like to call upon His Excellency, the Prime Minister of the Republic of Guinea, His Excellency Amadou Oury, on the stage. Your Excellency, please be seated. Your Excellency Prime Minister, the first question is going to be very easy, and this is going to awaken the attention of everybody here in this room. In order for the project Simandou to be implemented, it means that Bao Steel that we have made mention of actually invests in the capital of WACS, and the signing of this agreement actually we have been waiting for it actually impatiently. It's been more than 1 month that we have been waiting for this the signature of this agreement. Is there any blockage or something else has been taking place or occurred, Your Excellency? Thank you very much. I think that the agreement, closing agreement actually has been effected 3 or 4 weeks ago, and all that was needed to be done has been done. Actually, we are now entering the phase of operational phase. Do you know, Your Excellency, that the terms of reference or random menu, it's a very cross-cutting theme, and it involves the idea that African countries should actually value their natural resources in a geopolitical context. And we know that Project Simandou is not only a very crucial project for the economy of the country, but also for some other domains. I've been talking about the fact that the Chinese have been looking about diversifying the economy, and I also spoke about Australia. I'm talking about Western countries. In a nutshell, actually, they are afraid to have Guinea influencing actually the geopolitical line of Peking in China. Actually, is this going to work, and how did you maneuver actually to be able to, of course, to start with the project of Simandou? Thank you. I think that the world actually can change and evolve, and as far as the Guinea is concerned, we think that the geopolitical situation actually, in terms of the country of Guinea, if we take a look at what is happening in Eastern Europe, with the war of Ukraine, actually this has permitted us to awaken our conscience, especially of the Western, especially on the necessity of not always being dependent in terms of, I don't know, food security, in terms of mining, simply because actually Guinea has it all. And the second point that I want to make is the fact that in Guinea we are very connected with our national policies, and we need to partner with all the countries of the world, but at the same time we need to have our independency simply because we need to have a win-win relationship, a partnership, and we are looking forward to have partners with that person actually who is going to satisfy the needs of the Guineans. And if you try to look at the project of Simandou, on one side we have Rio Tinto, we have WSS, and we need to work hand in hand in order to reach this operational context. Actually, it's something that should be very proud of, and this is the political will coming from the government of Guinea, and we thank His Excellency General Mamadi Doumbouya, who has been able to push this and make it happen. And actually, the global geopolitics actually is being played, and we need to be looking at the specific interest of the Guinea as a country. Your Excellency, Mr. Prime Minister, we think that if this project actually is implemented, would help in terms of revenue collection, talking about something around 50 up to 500 billion US dollars per year. And we know that we have had issue with raw materials and natural resources which are not helping them. And sometimes it does not benefit actually the local population, and we know a high level of corruption. So why is it that Guinea is trying to implement what it has not been able to implement long and many years ago? Well, everything takes place at its own time. In this sector, actually, we are commending the countries such as Botswana. It's an exemplary country in their capacity to manage the natural resources. They are trying to manage it. The natural resources for the interest of the country. So the question about the fertility of the natural resources, especially mining sector, we are talking about the governance. It's true. In Guinea, we have for a very long time, with the exploitation of bauxite, we have had a limited level of value added, that did not impact, what we were expecting, and it was not actually helping other domains in the country of Guinea. Actually, it's an example, but as of now, with the project of Simandou, it is our beginning, and we would like to, start by it. And since 1970, we need to draw some lessons and to ask ourselves what we can do and what we cannot do. Is it feasible? Is it doable? Can we take this into consideration? And we need also to take a look on what is happening into other countries, and we are very conscious of what we have taken as a journey, and it took into consideration, of course, what we need in Guinea, and we also are taking this project as a global project, a flagship project, and we don't need to go back to where we were. And we also think about the fact that this is going to, of course, benefit the entire population of Guinea, and we are also thinking that it's a very good example. And beyond the mining aspect sector, we want to make sure that the private sector is developed, and we need to make sure that the private sector actually is a part and parcel of the mining activities. At the same time, we need to say that it's very important to encourage, of course, the diversification of our national economy, and at the same time, we need to, of course, we need to not only to count about, for instance, something about the revenues, but also we need to invest ourselves in education. We need to prepare the future generation so that they can, of course, continue to use the revenues that we'll be able to make for the sake of the well-being of the country. Realistically speaking, and wisely speaking, we need to manage, of course, every single thing that we have in a way that is going to benefit our population. And this is the reason why we are going to work hand in hand with the countries such as Liberia, Sierra Leone, and Ivory Coast, so that we need to have this kind of partnership in a varied way, especially investing ourselves in agriculture so that we can be able to stand on our 2 feet. And we are going to avoid the past or the errors that occurred in the past. Your Excellency Prime Minister, if you allow me, actually, we have had a chance to have you today, so I will give you the last question. Actually, you spoke about the Guinea as a very rich country, and you spoke about the fact that the mining sector is going to boost the economy of the country in general. So, this project actually is extended on a very big number of districts in Guinea, and so many things has been occurring among or between the local communities and the actors who are involved in the implementation of this project of mining projects, and some of the unwanted fight has been occurring. So how do you want to manage this projects in order for the local communities be involved and avoid these kind of tensions? Well, let me say that this question that you asked, let me say that someone has entered maybe in a no-go zone, maybe for his own, understanding. And unfortunately, maybe they have met, the security forces who have killed them. And this has been a complex question. I think that in the context of Guinea as of today, we need to take into consideration factors which are not related to the Simandou project, but the factors that are related to other facts. So that's the reason why we are looking forward to have the Pacific cohesion and peaceful coexistence. This is the reason why we have had national dialogues taking place. And as far as the revenues are concerned, the public revenues, it was observed and asked that 20% of the national revenue be invested, in the GDP of the countries. And this is one of the solutions actually that we have undertaken in order to help some communities, to improve their well-being. So on both sides, as we call the local development fund, which was put in place for the local communities, and especially those communities that were impacted or which will be impacted. Actually, the source of revenues, actually, they will of course benefit from this simply because we need to improve their well-being, and of course they will be able to put in place or create some of the employment. We are actually trying to put in place a political context, or let me say a political environment that will enable us and enable them to be able to avoid this kind of bad resentment. And at the same time, we need to make sure that there is a will, and there is a will, and at the same time that we have learned from the mistakes that we made in our past that has stopped us for progress. However, for this context, all of us, our stakeholders, we need to work hand in hand for the interest of the countries, not for the sake of their own interest or personal interest. We are looking forward to having infrastructures related to electricity, infrastructures related to the well-being of the population, and at the same time, Simandou is a very structured project for the future of the Guinean economy. And as far as Guinea will be developed, it's the region that is going to be developed at the same time. So in this case, we will be, of course, fighting against poverty. At the same time, we will become we'll create, jobs in order to avoid the migrants coming from Guinea going to Europe. Thank you very much, Your Excellency, Prime Minister Amadou. We need of course, it's very important to say that this kind of development is going to occur in Guinea, and this is going to help Guinea to develop, starting with these flagship projects. Once again, thank you very much, Excellency Prime Minister, and thank you very much for having come here. It's meant to thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.